This is Super Mover Brothers, the motion picture. This is the game I worked on as part of the 2019 Global Game Jam. These are the people that worked on it. Had a good little team, about I guess 5 people worked on it. And yeah, we had 48 hours to make the game as part of the annual Global Game Jam. This was my 7th year doing the Global Game Jam. It's always a good time. The idea with this game is you play these little movers. I'll put a couple players in, although I'm only going to control the blue one. I'll put the red guy over here, but it supports up to 4 people in multiplayer. You move items in the house. It's all just kind of physically controlled. Let's see if I can get this item. Where I want to put this is... Ooh, yeah, lost a touch. Here we go. Put it in this corner here. There we go. So you want to try and efficiently move things into the house. You also want to try and move things to the back of the house because you get paid for every item you put in the house. You get $1 for every item you put in the house. So by the time the truck empties out, you want to get as many things into the house as possible. So it's a collaborative game. Players work together to, just like real moving, you have these kind of frustrating problems. Oh, that's good. I'll put it there. Work together to fit all these items in the house. These people are downsizing, so they have way too much stuff. Put this in the kitchen, I guess. And get that giant teddy bear in. So this is the basic idea. The controls are very simple. You just move around with the joystick or arrow keys and then A or enter to grab things. I have a little animation for the arms grabbing that we were able to get in there. Little details like that I was happy we were able to implement. So towards the start of the game you tend to be strategic, you tend to try and sort of Tetris things together. By the end you start getting way too many grand pianos and you're just trying to desperately fit everything into the house as much as you can. High score I've seen is about, maybe it was 55, something like that. That'd be like 55 items put in the house. We also have some awkward shapes, like this thing is kind of this T shape. It's pretty awkward to move around and fit in. As you can see, they have a coffin. We were trying to think of just some funny items to put in. They're like, why would people move a coffin? And we just wanted kind of big, bulky, weird shapes as well. That's why this table exists. This very long table. We noticed we needed to kind of fill out the space better. This was also when we were designing this level. We put in these kind of built-in countertops here in various places to also kind of fill in the space and make it so you have to kind of Tetris a little bit more. The objects in those kind of slide around on their own a little bit. I noticed during just implementing the controls of the game that things became a little too fluid. You just have a ton of shapes in a room, kind of like what's happening here in this sort of middle room. They just kind of be fluid and not really fit together in any interesting way. And what we wanted was more of what's going on down here in this kind of garage, where you'd have these kind of like Tetris shapes here fitting together. Ultimately what we learned in the development of this game is the physical nature of it was not the most conducive to kind of a Tetris puzzle game. It's too difficult to get things exactly where you want them, although that being said I'm pretty happy with where the controls ended. But we decided pretty last minute, Sunday morning, to make the game multiplayer. It was originally a single player game. Decided to make it multiplayer and make it more chaotic, make it faster, and just make it kind of score based. And that's where we ended up. So it scores you up at the end here. You see everything you got in the house. Oh cool, there's a bug that we weren't able to fix in time, but up here where it says you've earned $0, it should say you have earned $20 or what have you. There's actually a second smaller level that is a little bit different. You play this one more strategic, you're not as rushed, it's more about trying to just optimally fit things in within the time limit. Score on this level tends to be smaller, maybe 23. But that's how the game works, and I think what I learned this year Global Game Jam, or what we succeeded on better this year than I did last year, is just fitting the game to the team. I think we had a better game idea originally, but I was just kind of looking at the team we had, and we had a level designer, we had a really talented artist, you know, another kind of programmer, designer, and the game that we were thinking of making just wasn't well fit to that team in particular, and was maybe a little bit too large. So this game, much smaller in scope, and really leveraged our level designer. He's able to put together a couple cool levels, and I think it worked out pretty well, all things considered. Not that I was wanting to do yet another like local co-op game for the Global Game Jam, which do a lot of, but that tends to be an easier sort of game to make within the time limit, to make something that's at least something basically fun. That is the game. You can check it out it's on itch.io right now, and thanks for watching.